Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to my recap of season 1, episode 7 of Love Is. So, as usual, let's just go ahead and jump right into the episode. So, the episode starts with Yasir out on a job interview. I'm at a store, and the whole interview kind of rubbed me the wrong way because he was just kind of being a little rude and obnoxious. And in my head, I'm like, you need a job. So typically we kind of got to fake it till we make it. So just say just be nice, be kind to get the job. Of course, he was rude, and so of course he didn't get the job. But then it was like a light bulb, I guess, went off in his head as he went out to the parking lot and kind of, I think, had a little talk with Jesus, and was like, let me get myself together, go back in here and get this job. So of course he went in, he kind of made friends with, I'm guessing it was probably like the assistant manager or something in the bookstore, and he got the job. So he goes home, and then he cooks Nuri dinner and gets her a gift, which he's bought her a book. And the way he presents the book to her is to tell her that he got 40% off with his employee discount. So of course she's excited, like, finally he's got a job, it's all good, so this is great. So just kind of fast forwarding through, so her mom comes over, and so Yasir and her mom, who is Carol, finally meet. And of course Carol is kind of giving, like, the side eye, and she's like, well, come here, give me a hug. She's like, a handshake, you can't really tell anything. So of course Carol's just kind of starts saying some things that are a little inappropriate. She of course brings up their sex life, and of course Nuri's embarrassed, and Yasir is just kind of going with it because, as usual, he has a really good personality. So I think he's pretty good about going with the flow and going with the vibe. And so some kind of way, and I honestly can't even remember, but they started talking about Valentine's Day. And of course, and from what it said is that Nuri, which is like most women, I'm not gonna say all, but most women love Valentine's Day and want to be acknowledged on Valentine's Day by their significant other. But of course, Yasir says, he doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day. It's a corporate holiday, yada, yada, yada. And then, so, and of course, Nuri's mom, Carol, is like, are you okay with that? And Nuri's basically like, well, if he doesn't want to celebrate it, then I don't either. Which, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, too, because what I'm kind of getting from here, and it's kind of like she changes herself to be with him, and that's like kind of weird to me. I mean, I understand that, when you're dating somebody or, in a relationship with somebody, that you kind of gotta do some things, but it kind of seems like she's always kind of changing herself. Prime example, she went out and bought this new couch. Her and her mom went out and bought a new couch. It's a pink couch. She has it in the living room. She's all set. It's a great couch. And, she's excited about it. She sits on it. She loves it. Well, then when Yasir comes in, he starts making comments about the couch and saying, like, the couch should go in, like, her office or whatever. And then she kind of starts changing her mind and, deciding that, well, maybe it does, when initially she seemed to be fine with it. So my whole issue with this whole relationship is this, like, she is changing who she is to be with him, because technically they are pretty different, and their differences to me doesn't have anything to do with him not having a job, just their personalities, their lives, and things like that. So that kind of bothers me that, she seems to be turning into somebody else. Then of course, they go back to the Nuri and Yasir as adults, and Nuri does say, that she kind of feels, not necessarily incompetent, but kind of weird around him because he's so smart and he's this and he's that. And at the same time, Yasir is saying, that he feels a certain way, around her because, like, basically she has her life together. She's, got a house, she has a job. This is like the second couch she bought. And so he kind of feels inferior to her. So it was kind of, and I think that this is really good things that I do like about this show is that, because they always take us back to the older versions of them, so you kind of get a little background, a little idea of who they are and what they were thinking. So although at the one hand I was like super annoyed at Yasir and what he was saying and doing, and when I saw the older them, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But don't get me wrong, I'm still mad, and I still think that they should celebrate Valentine's Day. So of course, you can just kind of see that Carol is just kind of not feeling Yasir, and she's kind of getting what I'm saying too, is that basically Nuri is kind of changing who she is to be with him. So anyway, Nuri's at work. She's at, and she's in the room, and Angela's off that day. Which of course we later find out that she was out sick. So it's just Nuri in the room with all the guys, and they're talking about Valentine's Day because the guys are kind of talking about what they're doing for their significant others and all of that. And of course Nuri comes and does this whole spiel of basically what Yasir has fed her about Valentine's Day, corporate holiday, and the guys have a field day. Now, y'all know that I have kind of been up in the air about my boo, Norman, who Kadeem Hardison, Dwayne Wayne. But this episode and he said everything I was thinking. So I was like, good job, Norman. You are back in my good graces. But basically, they were kind of telling her that Yasir was playing her. And like, it's kind of like, that's what a guy does when he doesn't want to spend Valentine's Day with you. And so they were just giving her the whole spiel. And you could see her little face kind of starts crumbling. Because I think, again, in her head, she's like, oh my gosh, they're right. And so we go to Nuri, and I think it's her mom, her aunt, her grandma have like this single ladies day. And so Yasir's kind of helping her get ready for that day. And then he says he's going to leave. Well, him leaving, he's going back to Ruby's house, which is what Nuri said. She's like, well, you're going to Ruby's house. He's like, I'm going to my place. And she's like, well, Ruby's place. And so it's like basically on Valentine's Day, the day that, again, most of us women love, Yasir is leaving her because he doesn't celebrate the holiday and going to his ex's, who is now his roommate's house. This is just all bad, all wrong. Doesn't even sound normal coming out of my mouth, right? It just sounds crazy. So they kind of have a little conversation about it. And of course, he just basically is like, I'm, leaving you here so you can be with your family, and I'll see you tomorrow. So he leaves. So a little bit after, Nuri's family come in. It's her mom, her aunt, and her grandma, and they come in. And the mom, as which most parents would do, have pretty much told all Nuri's business about Yasir, about him living with her, about him having a kid, about him not having a job. I mean, she's ran the gamut and told everything. So, of course, the aunt, who seems to be that kind of spicy aunt, comes in, and they're all trying to talk to her and trying to figure out, like, what are you doing with this guy? He's using you, like they're telling all this stuff. And so she basically is just like, he's not, she's fine, she's happy, whatever. And Nuri kind of gets upset, and she says some things that are kind of mean. And one of the things that she does say is that, that she basically doesn't even want to celebrate this day with him. She doesn't want to be there with him. She would rather be with him. And the funny part is the grandma's like, well, thank you, basically, because she's like, I don't want to be here either. She was like, it was cute when we started, but now, it's not so cute. So the grandma was like, she was ready to go. And so the grandma and the aunt get up and leave, and then it's just Nuri and her mom there. And, Nuri kind of asked her mom, basically like, why did you pretend to like him when you didn't? And the mom was just trying to explain to her what she felt, which is what I think most of us feel if we've been watching the show, is just that, she's kind of losing herself and she's changing, just to keep him. And then, of course, Nuri comes, and basically it's just like, basically that's not true. Like, he makes me happy. This is who I want to be with, and what we find out is that Yasir is a lot like Nuri's dad, which I thought was very interesting, because basically the mom is down there and Nuri's like, well, Mom, he's not my dad. And Yasir and Nuri's dad have all of these commonalities. Like, there's so much. They're both Muslims, and then as the mom says, they had multiple women, which of course Nuri's like, it's just her, and Ruby's, the roommate. So it's this whole gamut, and she basically says that, that he's not liking it, that he just really makes me happy. And she basically has asked her mom to accept the fact that he makes me happy, and I just need you to understand that. Of course, her mom finally, because she's a mom, she's just like, okay, she understands it. So on the other side of town, we have Yasir, where he's gone to Ruby's house, and Ruby's like cleaning out the refrigerator, whatever, and he's like, spring cleaning. She's like out with the old, in with the new, which, I mean, clearly that was a little snot to him. And so then she's in her room, and he comes in there, and, she's basically kind of looking at him with a little bit of, disgust. And it's just like, basically, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, let's just hash it out. And she's like, no, And then finally, Ruby makes a valid point. She's like, you left me, you're gone with another woman, and then you come back here on Valentine's Day. And she said, kind of making her think that maybe, just maybe they are going to be together, or maybe there's something there. So they're kind of having this conversation, this argument. And then Ruby makes what I think is like an amazing point. I mean, it was dead on. I think all of us are thinking it. And she's basically like, now you've stopped smoking, you've gotten a job, once you left me, you basically are on the come up. And her thing is, she's like, I mean, you don't understand that I got you here. And I know I got a little extra about it, but I was like, this is basically what it is. It's like, he literally laid on her couch, and he even said it for 5 months, and Britt wasn't doing anything. And then he gets with Nuri, and within a month he's not smoking, he's got a job. Even if it's a job that he's just making minimum wage, he's actually trying to do something. And when he was with her, he wasn't. And so that's very hurtful for her, and I understand that. Of course, he came back and basically was just saying, well, she didn't want him anyway, and basically she just wants him now because someone else does. And I mean, I get what he's saying, but I mean, I'm a woman, so clearly I'm going to go off of what Ruby said. And, she's hurt. And, she's basically like, I'm not putting you out, but I just need you to be gone for like an hour. So he leaves, and he ends up at Insomnia, which is the cafe that they're always at. I guess that's just their spot. And Sean, his best friend or guy, his homeboy, comes in. And oddly enough, which I thought was crazy, Sean makes like the most valid point. And if you've been watching the show, then you know that Sean is usually a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And so he makes a valid point and basically, is telling your seer, like, really, like, you're not with the woman who you love on Valentine's Day. And he's like, yeah, you're just saying it's a corporate holiday, but you're basically just saying that because you don't have the money to get her anything. And so Sean kind of pretty much sets him straight, which I thought was pretty cool because, like I said, Sean is always kind of silly and playing and hasn't come off as a really great guy, but he really makes a valid point. And so it ends up is that Yasir ends up going to Nuri's house, and of course her mom is still there, and her mom is like, I'm not leaving, I'm too drunk to leave. And Nuri opens the door, and he kind of gives a little speech, and he has flowers for her. Gives her flowers and tells her happy Valentine's Day. And of course the mom is sitting there eavesdropping, which who wouldn't? And then he says her about, we need a song. It's a song that I'll always think about. When I hear it, I'll think about you, and vice versa. And so they dance to the song, and they're talking, and the mom is kind of peeping in, and she can really see that Nuri's really happy. And you can kind of see it in the little bit they show in her eyes. It's like, even though maybe she doesn't agree, she doesn't necessarily think he's a great guy, she maybe wishes she's had more, she can honestly see that her daughter is happy. And of course, as usual, that's how they leave us, and the show ends. So before I conclude it, I kind of want to just say a quick thing that what I'm really torn about, because of course I'm annoyed with Yasir. I still don't know that he's my favorite person. Of course he upset me last week, and even this week, some things that kind of annoyed me too. But what I think and what I got from this episode and at the end is that he makes her happy. Even if we disagree, we think, maybe he should have more, or maybe his personality or things that he's done, but she's truly happy, and you can tell. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, do we fault him and be mad at him because he's not who we think he should be for her, but when she's happy? That's kind of what I want to leave you guys with today. And I want to ask, like, what do you think? Like, she's happy, she has this, you can tell it's privilege, she's happy, she's in love. Like, I don't care if they've only been together a month, like, she is in love, she doesn't mean he makes her happy. So should we get over it? Should I get over it, if maybe not we, and stop being mad at him and for whatever his personality is, and that I kind of think he's a little bit of a male chauvinist, a little pushy and all of that kind of stuff, but because she's happy, should I just get over it and stop hating Yasir? Because right now, I guess hate is a strong word, but I don't really like him. That's my question for you. What do you guys think about their relationship in regards to who he is, but that she's happy? Do you think that's what's most important. And honestly, I guess in a way I do think that that's what's most important, is that she's happy even if I don't necessarily like him. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of like if you have your friends. I'm sure you may have people who, your friends are dating or married to, and you may not care for them, but your friend is happy. So at some point you gotta just kind of get over it and just be happy for your friend. So I guess what I'm saying is, I guess I'm just gonna be happy for Nuri, because she's happy, and I'm just gonna have to get over being upset with Yasir. But anyway, as usual, thank you guys for watching so much. I'm not sure how many more episodes we have, but I don't know if you saw anything on social media, but they have been picked up for season 2, so which kind of makes me happy because, again, I do like the show. Like I said, I love Love. I think Love is great. So even though, I had my issues with Yasir, the end kind of warmed my heart. I thought it was sweet with the flowers and the song. So I still like the show. I'm going to keep watching it. I will pick up with season 2, probably with the recaps as well. But again, thank you so much for watching. Continue to watch, share with your friends, and make sure and leave your comments in the comment section for me. Just let me know what you feel about the show, what you're thinking about the show, and especially what do you think about the simple fact of the matter that Nuri is happy regardless of how we feel. But anyway, I will see you guys next week, and we'll recap the next episode. Have a great day.